Let's begin today's Vanguard news with Bushiroad exploring the art of storytelling via cards illustrations by making the 3 hungry girls in the order card suite cross suite actual cards, as well as some new cycle cards for Stoicheia and Dark States and EZBT05. Amical Pat is a reroll Taurus when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 Soul Blast to add up to 1 Amical Pat Aziri card with a different name, or in the 3 Good Friends card from the top 7 cards of your deck. So the trio decided to create an idol group, which means friendly pastry chef in French. They remind me of Brand Gates Poots and Schwestern, where they have an archetype that has nothing to do with the Vanguard and are mostly rear guard centric. The fact that she can work on your grade 1 right turn gives any lyrical Monasteria deck an early Russian filter card. Amical Pat is a Riswihi while on rear guard, makes you soul charge 2 cards, and gets 5k power when she's boosted by her Amical Pat Aziri unit. The fact that her soul charge is mandatory makes teching them limited. Lutetia, for example, would probably like them, as they can soul charge some cursed play orders, whereas Herminia will hate them as being powerful requires being soulless. Amical Pat Aziri Markiel when placed on rear guard lets you pay 3 energy to add a grade 2 or lower Amical Pat Aziri card from your drop zone. And while on rear guard, you can pay 1 counter blast when she attacks a Vanguard, while you have 3 Amical Pat Aziri units with different names to move 2 of your opponent's rear guards to the Guardian Circle, and she gets 10k power. This group just gives Lyrical Monasteria a generic rear guard removal that has extra steps, but requires a dedicated space. She can probably be abused in decks that can withstand their rear guards, but that's about it. The 3 Good Friends is a normal order card that can only be played by paying 2 Soul Blast to call up to 2 Amical Pat Aziri cards with different names from the top 7 cards of your deck. The fact that this card uses 2 soul and is a grade 3 order means this is an early game brick in your hand. Using Swihi just to fuel this card makes it even worse, as it requires you to already have her and Will Taurus on rear guard, which sort of defeats the purpose of using it in the first place, unless you're digging for Markiel. In fact, you can just only use Will Taurus and Markiel, since they can surge or revive one another. You don't even need the forced rear guard removal. Roaring Voice Brave Shooter gets all of her abilities if you have no cards in your G zone, while in your hand you can discard herself and putting 2 cards originally from your eye deck in your solo drop zone back to your eye deck face up if you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard, to add up to 1 grade 3 or higher card with a different name than your Vanguard from the top 7 cards of your deck. You return this card to your hand instead if you did not add a card with this ability, and when she's put on the Guardian Circle, she gets 5k shields. If you have 4 or more cards in your drop zone, then you can bind a grade 3 or higher card from your solo drop zone if your opponent has a card in their G zone to get 10k shields. So EZBT05's generic cycle cards is just anti-stride versions of the Jeweled Beast. Searching a different grade 3 or higher card than your Vanguard has me thinking that this is mainly to support the ride-up decks like the grade 4 upgrade or Craycross Epic's ride-up cards. Doesn't help that Reziel got a new ride-up form as well. And funny enough, you can potentially use the first ability twice if the first time fails to get a card. Magical Monarch Vasago gets all of his abilities if you have no cards in your G zone, while in your hand you can discard himself and putting 2 cards originally from your eye deck in your solo drop zone back to your eye deck face up if you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard, to add up to 1 grade 3 or higher card with a different name than your Vanguard from the top 7 cards of your deck. You return this card to your hand instead if you did not add a card with this ability, and when he's put on the Guardian Circle, he gets 5k shields. If you have 4 or more cards in your soul, then you can bind a grade 3 or higher card from your solo drop zone if your opponent has a card in their G zone to get 10k shields. The only difference for this card is the second ability requiring 4 or more cards in soul instead of drop zone. And take note, if you bind a card from your soul and are left with 3 cards in soul, he still gets the 5k shields because you already fulfilled the skills condition before paying the cost. Finally, we get 1 new promo card for the latest manga volume of Vanguard Skyride. Heart Opening Furia while on rear guard gets 5k power when she boosts while your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, or you played an order card this turn. Then you can put herself into your soul at the end of that battle to draw a card. Holy Attack of the Clones bad man. Dark States got themselves a Shenryi. It's a good thing that English players will probably get this as a box topper, as Japanese players have to buy 4 copies of the manga just to get a playset. Just when I thought getting a set of 4K or 4 Chronojet was hard, now I have to prepare myself in adding a new waifu to Chronojet's harem. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what will the conditions be for the remaining Nations Anti-Stride Cycle cards.